Microsoft Dynamics GP gives not-for-profit organizations the tools that they need to be able to effectively manage all aspects of their operations. Today, we will review grant management, inter-fund management, and encumbrance management. Dynamics GP Grant Management provides tracking for grants with multiple levels and cost tracking structures. Grants can span any time frame and are not confined to a fiscal year. The grant sponsor can also be recorded along with the award amount. There are a number of user-defined fields that can be labeled and used for reporting and query. Several options are available for validating a grant against its budget during transaction entry. Any transaction can be distributed to a grant. Let's record a payable for supplies. After completing the vendor, payment terms, and amount, we open the distribution window to distribute to the general ledger. The transaction can then be distributed to any number of grants. Warnings are issued based on the budget validation settings for the grant. The validation button provides additional information about the warning. In this case, we are receiving the warning because this transaction exceeds the grant period budget. I can also configure the grant to prevent posting of transactions that are over budget. There are multiple ways to access and analyze the grant-based data in Dynamics GP. Budget versus actual inquiry gives grant and program managers a view of the budget status of the grant. This information can also be printed. Queries can be configured and saved, and ad hoc queries of grant data can be generated. Queries are presented in Excel and can be configured for all programs and cost levels for the grant. General ledger account, customer, vendor, and other transaction dimensions can also be included. Microsoft Excel can be used to create dashboards, providing grant and program managers with access to information using a tool that is familiar to them. Microsoft Dynamics GP includes fund balancing automation for organizations that record transactions across multiple funds. Transactions between funds can be managed using a single due to, due from method. There's also a clearing or central treasury method that can be used to provide more visibility to transactions that move between funds. Our example is using the single due to, due from. Also note that the fund segment for our example is the third segment in the general ledger account. Let's take a look at a posted transaction to see how Interfund records entries between funds. By summary inquiry for the due to, due from account for Fund 01 shows us a summary view of all of the activity. Selecting a period and drilling back will show more detail. Detail Inquiry provides a detailed list of all postings to Fund 01. We're going to choose the first transaction and drill back to the journal entry. We can see the last two lines of the entry as they were recorded on the payables transaction. Because the entry crossed funds, Dynamics GP keeps the funds in balance by automatically generating the due to, due from entries. Dynamics GP allows purchase orders to encumber budgets, providing managers with the controls and visibility to their department's budget status. Budgets can be encumbered at the general ledger or grant level. And validated using one of four tracking methods. Budgets are defined using standard Dynamics GP budget maintenance. Here we can see that the travel budget for Fund 01 is $200 per month. Based on our tracking method of period, Dynamics GP will identify any transactions for Fund 01 travel that exceed the $200 per month budget as over budget. Because we are using the optional purchase order approvals capability, we have the option to choose how Dynamics GP will handle the over budget condition. Let's look at a list of purchase orders that have been entered and are waiting for approval. We can drill in and review the details of each PO. including details on the posting accounts for the PO lines. Remember that our budget for the posting account for this PO is $200 per period, and we are approving a PO for $750. Based on our encumbrance setup, we should expect to see a message indicating that we are over budget. Dynamics GP is asking if we want to over-encumber our budget. Normally, we would probably say no, but for our purposes today, let's click yes. If my approval settings were set to pre-encumber, then I could use the mass encumbrance function to view all POs that are approved but not yet encumbered. Let's take a look at what's happened to our budget with the approval and encumbrance of the PO. Encumbrance status can be viewed for a budget or a year, and for a range of accounts or a single account. We can choose whether to view net change or period balances. Here is the encumbrance status of the travel account for Fund 01. We can see in the actual column there have been $150 in purchase invoices posted to this account in April. There is also a pre-budget amount of $500. This is the amount that was approved but has not yet been encumbered. Highlighting the period and clicking on the pre-budget link will show us all of the purchase order lines that are waiting to be encumbered. It looks like PO 2162 was entered but later deleted. Dynamics GP provides us with full visibility of all of the activity in each of the categories. We can see that we are way over budget with $3,250 encumbered in April. As with the rest of the categories, drilling back on the column heading, in this case encumbered, will provide detail on the PO's lines that make up the $3,250 total. We have reviewed 3 components of the Microsoft Dynamics GP not-for-profit solution: grant management, interfund management, and encumbrance management. These components allow not-for-profit organizations to configure controls and automation for grant tracking, budget management, and fund balancing functions.